Somebody sent me a question about Muay Boran. I'm not even sure if I'm saying it correctly, but that's how I'm gonna pronounce it. The first time I found out about this way was from a documentary that Todai Ryan shared with us. You know, and basically some guy went over to Thailand and learned from Tony Jaa's first martial arts teacher, and the guy was very spiritual. The guy was very talented at what he did, um, and he was teaching Muay Boran. Now this is different from the Muay Thai boxing that the most people are familiar with. This is like basically the original version, the real martial art that basically Muay Thai boxing had exploited. So basically, it's very lethal techniques of combat that really are very deadly and very effective. Basically, too effective for sport fighting. So they they just took what they could out of that art, the techniques that they could take. They just took those and then exploited it in a competitive context, which is what we see as Muay Thai boxing today. Um, and basically, Muay Thai boxing is just a corrupted version of the Boran. Now, Tony Jaa was a martial artist that I first found out about in college, and as soon as I started watching his movies, I was really drawn to him. He has the energy that reminded me of Bruce Lee, and his expression was very like real, and you could see the talent, you could feel the energy, and also you could also feel the humbleness, and you could feel the respect. You could feel the appreciation for the spiritual aspects of the martial arts, and you see it in his expression, you see it in his movies, the way that he bows, and just everything. The meaning behind the movies, and what he's fighting for, and he's a real martial artist. And I keep saying that Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa, and Jet Li are the three main people that I acknowledge as real martial artists. Now, he was actually promoting not Muay Thai boxing, but actually Muay Boran. And if you watch that documentary about his teacher, you will see the spiritual aspect. You'll see the spiritualness in his teacher as well. So it's in Tony Jaa, it's in his master, but in Muay Thai boxing, it's not there. They cut the spirit off. There's no spirit in the competitive fighting. It's just all, it's brutal. I mean, they may try to put some of the spirit in. They may dance around the ring and bow and things like that. They might have a little more respect for each other as fighters, but it still boils down to the same thing. You're still fighting for money. You're still don't care about the health and the safety of your opponent. You're just there to just demolish him, and you're fighting for money. You boil it down to it. You can do all the bows you want to do and all this other stuff, but it's still exploitation of the real martial arts, and that's what Muay Thai boxing had done. It's a sad thing, but that's a very good example of the corruption of the real Muay Boran compared to the Muay Thai boxing. You see the corruption very it's very apparent, and it draws a lot of parallels between the real martial art, which is like Bruce Lee's expression, and he ended up labeling it Jeet Kune Do. But basically, he was promoting the integration of all martial arts, and just basically the ultimate expression of everything. But the people misunderstand it, and then they exploit his teachings, and then they call it mixed martial arts, and then they take it into a sporting context. So basically, it's a very parallel example of how when you cut off the spirit, it's no longer a real martial art. And then you just take the techniques that are beneficial for you. It's no longer what it was originally meant to be, and it's not the real martial art, which has like some beauty and authenticity to it, and it's missing. It's missing in the Muay Thai boxing. It's missing in the MMA. It's there in the Muay Boran. It's there in the Bruce Lee's expression of Jeet Kune Do, right? And I'm sure the founder of Aikido, I'm sure that he was expressing it the proper way. I'm sure Musashi, as an individual, was expressing it the proper way after he came to realization of basically the negativities of his path, is the destructiveness of his past, path. Like basically killing 61 people, so I heard, and then coming to the ultimate realization that this is not the way, and then expressing something more spiritual in his way. So Musashi, the founder of Aikido, Bruce Lee, Tony Jaa, Jet Li, Tony Jaa's master, and what Muay Boran is, supposed to be representing. And then the corruption examples are, Muay Thai boxing, MMA. Those are the corruption of the real martial arts. Is when they turn it into sport, it's highly corrupted. And even something that's not as violent like Taekwondo, if it's a real, like, authentic Taekwondo, I would say that there shouldn't be any rules, and as far as like their kicking is concerned, they should be able to be more expressive with their kicks, and the philosophy of the expression should be leading towards more of a peaceful expression. But once the Olympics came into play, and then it became a part of the Olympic Games, now all these Taekwondo schools are no longer focusing on the original intentions of the real Taekwondo, but then they start focusing on the Olympic competitions and the rules that are established for that competition. Then it becomes corrupted. It becomes watered down, it becomes corrupted, and then they start nitpicking the techniques that they could use from the real Taekwondo that could be used for Olympic, sparring. And then it becomes the corruption of the representation of a corrupted representation of the real Taekwondo. That's essentially what happened with Muay Boran and Muay Thai boxing. And it's the misunderstanding of Bruce's teachings in the Jeet Kune Do, in his expression of Jeet Kune Do, results in things such as mixed martial arts, or MMA they call it, which is basically just turning the martial art into a very violent competition. And really, it's not even supposed to be a competition at all. It's just supposed to be like learning, experimentation, sparring, and working together as friends in order to develop one another to your potential. It's not supposed to be a competition, but because it has turned into competition, and people are fighting for money and all these things, it becomes extremely corrupted. Just like how pornography and lust and prostitution corrupts the expression of real love between two human beings. That's real love is kind of like real martial arts, and then pornography and prostitution is the corruption of love, which is basically like combat sport.